السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. صباح الخير يا شمسين. النهارده I will go through revision on chapter 1, which is going to be our subject for what we are going to be interested in the next class. We did go through plenty of stuff. In fact, عندنا حاجات كتير قوي. Starting from types of functions, main forms, domain and range, how to speculate a sketch for a function, how to get main forms. This is all we did go through it in the previous video, plus a deep study for functions, going through composite functions, the inverse, how to restrict a domain for a function to be invertible, and how to do the steps for inversion for a certain function. Also, we did go through exponential functions, trigonometry, logarithmic functions. Most type of functions we did go through it, plus enough knowledge about limits with the main principles. Also, we did go through continuity and the conditions for a function to be continuous at a certain point or within an interval. Also, we did go through derivative. We finished derivative with all its drills and all its ideas, plus an application on everything almost we did go through, starting from logical theory, then Taylor and Maclaurin, then the third one, which is very, very important, investigation for functions, which go through the maximum, minimum inflection points, similitudes evaluation, then construction of functions. Also, we finally, in the previous lecture, we did go through partial derivatives. All of this will be involved in Unit 10. Let's go start step by step. All the course materials already found on campus, so it should be fine. Listen. I'm going to start this revision, and I want you to see the cover of your exam. This is the cover page of your exam works, either classworks or final exam. I would like you to see it. You will see here is information about the exam and about the university. You will write your full name here, 7 IDs. I will need both of them, those two IDs, the Gov and the U-Patch. Then level 4, subject engineering mathematics, the date you will insert, the date of the day of exam. Don't you forget our exam for course 4 FC 2034. It will be on the next Thursday, and it will be at 9 a.m. in the morning at the time of our lecture, and it will be here in our location in this room. Okay? You have 10 questions. Each one of them is marked out of 10. You don't have to write anything. You don't write anything in this part. Okay? This coming classwork is going to cover knowledge of understanding of functions, evaluation of limits. Going and understanding of functions, it involves, take care, it involves composite functions, inversions, the restriction, what I've just said. Then knowledge of the evaluation of limits, understanding and knowledge of derivative, main concepts, implicit functions, application of derivative containing logical applying what I've just said to you in the previous video. Okay? Various exam instructions. Also, you are allowed to bring one open book, it's an open book test, and you are allowed to bring one page double-sided. You can write all the laws that you will need in this page. Also, I need you to read each question carefully and understand what's required from you. Also, show you how to receive full credit. You will have to show me the steps of your answers. The final note, make sure that your mobile phone is switched off and erase it in your bag. Okay? This is the exam instructions. Let's go through some ideas just to enrich what we have been through. I will start with a master question, which is to find the domain and range for each of these functions and give a sketch for it. Okay? Also, each question you will find Q1, the marks is written over here, and also you will find the name of the question, and then you will have as a part to give your answer. I would recommend that you use pencils within giving your answers. Please do use pencils. Don't use blue pens in order to help you out if you want to remove something or to clean something. Okay? Let's start. I need 2x over 6x solve this problem. I'll write it down in your exam. And you have another problem beside it. Also, I need to find the domain, range, and get a sketch for this function. I will start with the function with the second one, which is y. Okay, y is going to equal to, I believe it's a 2 over x squared. If I want to do this function, I know the main rational functions, the main form of a rational function, which it should be y minus b equal k divided by x minus b. This is the main form. You have two options. We already solved a lot of problems on these forms. So, for the time being, you can imagine that you don't have this square. If you don't have this square, what's going to be? It's going to be y, which is going to equal 2 over x, which can be easily put on this form. It's going to be y minus 0 equal 2 divided by x minus 0. This is exactly in the main form. So, once you see this form, now you understand. It's going to be, if you have, this is the y-axis, okay, here is the y-axis. This is the x-axis, as you can see. And then I will have vertical asymptote and horizontal asymptote. The vertical asymptote will go for A. So I will write here, I have horizontal asymptote, and then I have vertical asymptote, which is the y-axis. Since k is positive, the graph should exist in the first quartile and in the fourth and in the third quartile. صح كده؟ يعني المفروض يبقى موجود في الربع الأول والربع الثاني. This is the case if you are dealing with 2 divided by x. But we have a difference. We have 2 divided by x squared. So, x squared, what's going to happen? Those values will remain positive and they will be like this, almost at the shape. But remark, all the values in the third quartile, it's going to be on the second quartile. Because the y values, it will never become negative. So, this is what you are going to see. This is the shape of this function. مجرد ما انا عملت سكتش اقدر اصبح لي الدومين رينج. يبقى انا هنا لو عايز اجيب الدومين والرينج, if we want to get the domain, so the domain simply will be x belongs to r except at 0. And in a similar fashion, similar manner, range is going to equal to y belongs to c. It's going to start from 0 and going up to infinity. هتبدا من عند الصفر ورايح فين؟ للنهايه. خلي بالك at 0, those are horizontal asymptote. The definition of the asymptote, it's a tangent for the function in infinity. So that's in y will start from 0 and go up to infinity. It will never reach 0. It will approach 0, but at positive infinity or negative infinity. أنا كده جبت الدومين, جبت الرينج, عملت اكسبشن. طبعا.
هو أنا لو خدت الدومين مثلا اكس
على سؤال.
الدومين بتاع اكس كانت ار اكسبت اللي هي كانت اكسبت 0. أنا أصغرها ولا لازم؟
لا أيوه. بس هي اكتبها كده. معاك. مش مشكلة. اكتب except 0 but out periphery. If you like, if you please, write it this way. It's r minus 0. تمام؟ أي مشاكل؟ سيبوا بالك. طيب لو أنا جيت أبص على الأذر فانكشن، كده أنا خدت فول كريدت. كده خدت فول مارك for this problem. It's required to find the domain, the range, give a sketch for this function. If I want to ask you, is it invertible? Is it one-to-one? No, it is not one-to-one function. Is it function أصلا? And the function? Yes. If you have a vertical line, it will have just only one point. But it's not invertible. If I want you to restrict the domain to have an inverse for this function, what's going to be the inversion? All you have to do, if you want to restrict your domain to be one-to-one, in order to have one-to-one, you will have to restrict your domain. So I will say x is greater than, x is greater than 0. I can't use equal. X is greater than 0, so I'm talking about the right side. Or x is less than 0, so I'm talking about the left hand side. تمام يا شباب؟ اوكي؟ طيب تعالى نعمل الفانكشن الثاني. الفانكشن الثاني بتقول ايه؟ بتقول y الكلام ده بيساوي 2x plus 6 and it is divided by x minus 1. Also, in a similar manner, I want to put it on the main form. How to put it on the main form? Let's talk about how to put it on the main form. Simply, I need this to be x minus 1. So, simply, I will take 2 as a common. So, I will have x plus 3, which is divided by x minus 1. Second step, I need to see x minus 1 on the denominator. So, simply, add negative 1 and the plus 1. So, and we did that plenty of times previously. 2x minus 1 plus 1 plus 3, and it is divided by x minus 1. So, all you have to do, y is going to be equal to 2, and you will have x negative 1 plus, and this is going to be 4, divided by x minus 1. This is what you are going to get. So, y is going to be equal to 2 plus, it's an 8, divided by x minus 1. Finally, you will have the main form, which is y equal, I'm sorry, just a second. And finally, y will be negative 2, it's going to be equal to 8 divided by x minus 1. And in a similar manner, if I want to give a sketch for this function, it's going to be really, really simple. All we have to do, طبعا زي ما انت شايف ده الواي اكسس وهنا الاكس اكسس بتاعك. بعدين I need to go for positive 1. We go opposite side. So I will need to go to positive 1 like this, and this is what's called a vertical asymptote. I will have to go at 2 here. So this is 2, and this is a horizontal asymptote. Then, as you can see, 8 is positive, so your graph simply will be within the first quarter and the third quarter, as you can see. At this stage, you will have to mention domain and range. Here is really very simple to state both of them. So let me give them here. If I want to say the domain, so I will say that d x belongs to R minus, or except the value what? 1. Range will be exactly the same. Y belongs to R, except or minus the value at 2, which is a horizontal asymptote. Is it invertible? It is 1-to-1. It's a 1-to-1 function. Is it continuous? Is this function a continuous function? No. It's not continuous at x equal 1. Exactly, Mr. Muhammad, like this one, it's not continuous at x equal 0, not continuous on the domain. شباب متابعيني؟ طبعا احنا خدنا الكوادراتيك فانكشن، خدنا اكسبوننشال، صح كده؟ restricted our discussion about the rational functions since they have steps in drawing and going through them. But in the arithmetic function or in exponential function, you will find them exactly the same like the main forms, so it's going to be easy. اوكي؟ تمام، حلو. تعالوا نبص على شكل او سؤال تاني من الاسئله اللي انت ممكن تكون معرض ليها. هنا بيقول لك find the composite function. هات لي composite for the inverse for another function. هنا I will need you to get the composite function for f of x equal x divided by 3x plus 2 and g of x equal 2 by x. لو انت عايز تجيب الكومبوزيت functions اول حاجه لازم اعملها I will need to get f, instead of that, I will need to get f of g of x. How to do this? First of all, I will have to see what's restricted in this domain. لازم نشوف ايه اللي انت ممنوع من automatic الدومين. الفانكشن اسمها g of x اللي انت تستخدمها. الفانكشن اللي اسمها g of x prohibited to it's not gonna be usable at x equals 0. لذلك انت عندك هنا الدومين ان x shouldn't equal to m to 0. This is you will have to identify first. Then start substituting, which is x divided by 3 of x plus 2. Start inserting g of x. So here I will find 2 over x, and also here I will find 2 over x. طيب لما عملت كده هعمل ايه؟ الكلام ده هيساوي ال x اللي already exists on the denominator, it's gonna go to the denominator and will be multiplied on all the denominator. So you will have 2 divided by x times 2 over x is going to divide 6, then plus 2x. This is going to be function. أو ده after substitution. معايا يا مهند؟ ها زياد معايا؟ طيب تمام؟ يبقى إذا الإكس اللي فوق تنزل تحت تنضرب في أرقام خليها بالوضع ده. هنا still if I want to find the domain, there is a restriction for this domain. 6 plus 2x shouldn't equal to m to 0. That's 2x shouldn't equal to negative 6. X shouldn't equal to negative 3. The domain for the composite function, now we can stay in the domain. The domain is going to be R, X, sorry, X belongs to R, except two numbers. Two things you will have to take them out from this domain. The first of them, 0, and the second is negative 0. I would always prefer to write the smaller number at the beginning, so it's going to be negative 3. This is the domain for the composite function. تمام؟ طيب لو انا حبيت ان انا اعكسها اجيب g as a function of x, it will be a similar manner. نفس الستبس. اتفضل.
ازاي
ها دي؟ طيب مش ده 2 over x. الاكس دي is going to multiply in this denominator. يبقى اذا الاx will be multiplied by 6 over x. So it's going to be 6. بعدين الاكس will be multiplied by 2, so it's going to be 2x. تمام كده؟ بعدين I will have to see how to get the domain. I have another restriction. The denominator shouldn't equal to 0. يبقى انا دلوقتي عرفت ان الدومين ده عشان تشتغل الفانكشن دي لازم to take out of this domain how many numbers? 2 of them. The first is the condition for g of x to be in application. The second for the final form. Okay? تمام. طبعا simply we can get g برضه نفس الاسلوب. اقدر اجيب g as a function in mean in f of x.
انا بحدد الدومين على الفيرست
الاولانيه والتوتال بوث. الدومين خلي بالك وهي خلي بالك الدومين it is the condition for the function to be able to work. يعني دايما الدومين هو الشروط اللي بتخلي الداله بتاعتك تشتغل. فانا علشان اصلا اقدر استخدم الجي اوف اكس لازم اشيل مين منها؟ الزيرو. واوفرول الفانكشن الجديده عشان ينفع تشتغل لازم اشيل منها مين؟ نيجاتيف. خلي بالك لو جيت اعمل عكس معايا مهند اروح الاول اجيب جي. هي جي بتساوي كام؟ It's a 2 over x. صح كده؟ دوت الجي. بس انا هحط فيها مين دلوقتي؟ اف اوف اكس. يبقى الكلام ده هيزيد. ركزوا شويه يا جماعه. ده 2 divided by. I'll start to take rid of x. I'll start using ال f of x. اللي هي it's gonna be x divided by 3x plus 2. صح؟ طيب انت عارف هنا ان الدينومينيتور في الدينومينيتور is gonna be nominator. صح؟ يبقى اذا على طول ده معناه ان g comes f of x is gonna equal to 6x plus 4 divided by mean x. بس خلي بالك ان before we start we should get rid of x shouldn't equal to negative 2 over كام؟ over 3. اشمعنى negative 2 over 3? It is the condition for f of x. Then after all, by the end of this problem, you shouldn't use x shouldn't equal to 0. So the domain should satisfy the domain x should belongs to R except negative 2 over 3 and 0 for this function. See, there is a difference in domains. And this is what we have said before. F comes to G is not going to equal to G comes to F. Okay. تمام يا شباب؟ اوكي، رابع. اما تمشي في الكونتكست اللي احنا شغالين بيه هتلاقي بعض المسائل دي على طول هتلاقي في عندك الانفرس وعندك ابلكيشن على الانفرس فمعرض ان يجي لك الانفرس فانكشن but I'm not going to cover everything. I'm just picking some of parts or some parts of what we have been. اتفضل.
هي ممكن تكون نفس الحاجه لو هي الانفرس بتاعها.
يعني ايه نفس الحاجه؟
نفس الدومين رينج.
اذا كان مثلا اذا كان حاجه زي y بيساوي x So if you try to get the inverse of y equal x, it will remain the same. But other functions, other things. Okay. طيب تعال نشوف. Then we did go through trigonometry. دخلنا في trigonometry. كان في بعض البروبلمز وبروفز على الامتحان التريجونومتري. انا اشتغلت معاك على الجزء اللي هو بتاع الساين والكوزاين، وكمان اتكلمت على البروفز بتاع الشاين والكوشاين. What's really important is trigonometry. معايا؟ I want you to study the proofs of the trigonometry part. تمام يا شباب؟ اتفضل. I wish to prove it. I want you to prove it. أنا عايز أثبت ده. I want to prove this identity. How to prove it? How to prove this identity? طبعا احنا في الجزء ده افتكر احنا خدنا كوزاين 2x is going to equal to cosine square x minus 1. خدنا البروف بتاعها which is an identity also زي this one. I give you an example of sine 3x, cosine 3x. Okay? This part is important. زي we will prove it. It's very simple. It's like a problem. Okay? I will start from the left hand side. Let's see. Left hand side. What's stated in the left hand side? Left hand side. Which is going to equal to 10 of x plus y. So, which can be written as sine of x plus y divided by cosine of x plus y. صح كده؟ طيب مش انت عارف الفاليو بتاعت ساين اكس بلس واي؟ It's gonna be sine, cosine sine, صح؟ So I can say it's cosine x, sine y, then plus it's gonna be sine x, cosine y divided by. I have cosine x plus y. So simply I can remove it and replace it by cosine x times cosine y minus sine x times sine y. So then look to the left hand side and look to the right hand side. You want to go from the left to the right. I don't need to see cosine and sine. I need to see tan. Just only that. Okay. I'm gonna divide both nominator and denominator on cosine x, cosine y. Why cosine x, cosine y? I need to see tan. So it will never come unless you have sine function divided by cosine function. Once you start doing this, let's see. So you have your left hand side, which is tan x plus y, and it will come out. Okay. Still, just a second, I'm sorry. This is cosine x, and this is sine y, and the other one is sine x, cosine y, and then you will have cosine x, cosine y, and this is going to be sine x, sine y. I will start dividing all of them on cosine x times cosine y. Simply like cosine x, cosine y, cosine x, cosine y, simply like cosine x, cosine y. If you remark, those two parts can be cancelled together. I think those ones could be cancelled together. I believe all of this could be cancelled together, so it's going to come out to 1. The other one, sin x over cosine x already 10. Plus you are done. Voila. The first of them is going to be 10 y plus the other part is going to be 10 of x, then divided by 1 minus 10x times 10y, which equal to the right hand side. So two identities moved. Come.
دي identity معروفة صح؟
تمام؟ معايا مهند؟ طبعا انا في حد من زمايلكم one of your companions asked me about this problem, so I thought put it just with us in the vision. Okay? That means you will have to study this part and go through it. This is the next and y. This is how it is written with u. This is the identity of sign of adding or subtracting of two angles. Also, this is the identity of cosine, the difference or the sum of difference of two angles. All I have to do is to substitute, just only divide by cosine x, cosine y, and well, you will have everything written down. Okay? تمام؟ حلو. I need the first derivative. I will go through derivatives. I need the first derivative for each one of these problems. Of course, in your exam, you will have plenty of problems to get the derivative of them. So, this is going to be a bunch of this. I need you to go through derivatives in details. If I went through the first function, which is x squared minus 4 e to the power of x squared plus 3, can you do it? Y dash will equal to, it's a multiplication of two functions. And the first is going to be 2x times e to the power of x squared plus 3. Then plus, the first bracket will remain, which is x squared minus 4 times the derivative of the exponential function, which is going to be e to the power of x squared plus 3, but don't forget times the derivative of the power, which is going to be 2x. I think this is a very simple one. صح كده؟ معايا ده؟ تنتبه ليه؟ اتفضل. دي كل العدد. طيب اللي بعدها اللي هي تانش 5x minus 2x squared. حد do you remember؟ تانش نعمله ازاي؟ حد يقول؟ يبقى this is problem number A. I'm going through problem number B, which is for y equal tanh. So y dash is going to equal to derivative of tanh is going to be sech to the power of 2. So it's going to be sech to the power of 2, the same angle, which is 5x minus 2x squared. Don't you ever forget times the derivative of this angle. So it's going to be times, if they start differentiating, which is 5 minus 4 of x. أي مشكلة؟ تمام؟ يبقى إذا this is problem number B.
كده بس الإجابة
لأنك أنت بتديفرنشيت التانش اللي هو قانون سيش سكوير الأنجل تايمز ديريفيتيف الأنجل. طيب the last one. How to go through the last one? We will have to use the logarithmic function. خلاص تعالوا بقى نبدأ بالlogarithmic function. I will take, first of all, I will take len for both sides. لو أنا خدت len for both sides, what's going to happen? It's going to be len y, which is going to equal to the len for e to the power of 10 minus 1x times x to the power of sine minus 1x. The second step, it's going to be len y equal to, this is going to be len e, and we can write 10 minus 1x. This is going to be 10 minus 1x. Then it's going to be plus the len of x, and then the power also will come in front of this value, sine minus 1x. في حد عنده مشكلة في المكان؟ Do you have any questions؟ مهند أنا عملت إيه؟ len عمل two things. First, he just changed the multiplication into addition. بدل ما هم مضروبين في بعض أصبح على طول هما الاثنين مالهم مجموعين. Second step, e to the power of 10 minus 1, it became 10 minus 1x times len. بعدين اللي جنبها len x to the power of sine minus 1x is going to come up at the beginning. Then start differentiating. So once you start differentiating, it's going to be y dash over 1, which is going to equal to. I'm going to just only differentiate 10 minus 1. Do you remember 10 minus 1x? The derivative of 10 minus 1x, which is 1 divided by 1 plus x squared. بعدين اللي بعديها هيبقى عندك plus. We have two functions multiplied in each other. So get the derivative of sine minus 1 times ln x, then the derivative of ln x times sine minus 1. Get the derivative of sine minus 1, which is going to be 1 divided by the root of 1 minus x squared times ln x. This is going to be ln x. Then plus sine minus 1x divided by x. تمام؟ واضح؟ أي مشاكل؟ Okay. Last step. Y dash is going to equal to, take a bracket, put all of this in this bracket times y, and then replace y, by the main function, which is going to be e to the power of arc 10x times x to the power of arc sine x. معايا؟ ايه؟ لا don't do it. Just do the derivatives and just leave it. We don't do simplifications unless we are going to use them. To use the function down the road. Exactly once we are investigating functions. افتكر لما احنا كنا بنعمل investigation كنت بنجيب the first derivative, I will have to simplify it because we will deal with it. اوكي يا شباب معايا محمد؟ خلاص مش لو انا هستخدمه هعمل، لكن دلوقتي هو بس ادي اللي هي الواي ودي الفانكشن بتاعت الليست بتاعتنا.
بس اول فراكشن خالص دي ما بتقدرش للاكس
لمين؟
للاي.
لان انت عارف ان للاي ده كان
طب هو الفراكشن ده ايه؟
الفراكشن
ساين انفرس ساين اكس
ده لان انت عندك لينكس يقول ديفرنشيت اتس gonna be one of x. صح ولا ايه؟ مش دول معامل دول two functions multiplying each other. So I will get the derivative of the first function times the second plus vice versa. Okay?
الديفرنشيشن بتاع للاكس
one of x.
ليه كان خلاص
Are you sure؟ تمام. We did have all of these problems. Also, I need to find the nth derivative for this function. Anyone? I want to find the nth derivative for this function. The nth derivative, it's going to be very, very simple. In order to get the nth derivative, you will have to differentiate your function more than once. So, first of all, y dash is going to be equal to e to the power of negative mx times negative m. Then I will go y double dash, which is going to be negative m times negative m times e to the power of negative mx. Get y triple, which is going to be negative m times negative m times negative m times e to the power of negative mx. If we continue doing this, practice, the sign is negative, positive, negative. So when we start getting y at n times the derivative, we will have an alternation of sign. يبقى عندي تغير في الإشارة. لذلك هخبط سالب 1 to the power of n, negative 1 to the power of n, and then try it. بعدين جربي. أنا كده لو شلت ال دي وحطيت 1, I'm talking about the first derivative. Let's replace n by 1. If we replace n by 1, it's going to be negative. Is y dash negative? Then replace n by 2. غير ال n وخليها كام؟ ب 2. فعلا y double dash is a positive. وهنا negative 1 to the power of 2 is positive, so we have a good check about the sign. Then y dash just only one m. Y double dash we have m to the power of 2. Y triple we have m to the power of 3. That's if we will have m to the power of n. الكلام ده كله e to the power of negative mx, e to the power of negative mx, e to the power of negative mx. So it's going to be e to the power of negative mx. This is the nth function or the nth formula. اتفضل. ينفع بس انا it's exactly the same. ينفع we can do it this way. مفيش سبب، مفيش ريزن. انا بس حبيت اظبط الاشاره عشان افصلها لو حصلت بعد كده في another problems الساين different than الاكيوميليشن بتاع any term عارف اعمله لوحدك، لكن انت كلامك صح.
هو ده اصلا كان ممكن يجي في السؤال ده.
ممكن يجي لك اي حاجه من المسائل اللي احنا قلناها في الجزء ده، يعني ممكن يجي لك بروتكس، ممكن يجي لك بروتكس، ممكن يعمل لين اكس بلس 1 صح ولا ايه؟ انا I already solved with you len x plus 1 previously, 1 over x previously, so we did go through this. فاهمني؟ I'm stating this in order to enrich the steps. Okay؟ معايا يا شباب؟ انا بفكرك بس.
هو كان ايه انواع الحاجات؟
في الانواع دي الجزء ده بتلاقي الانس ديريفيتيف موجود عندك. معايا؟ اللي انا قلته الليكتشرز، يعني الاجزاء اللي انا قلتها الليكتشرز. فاهم؟ بس. واضحه؟ تمام. لا طبعا انت عندك ليبتنز فورمولا and we will take it down the road. I want you to find dy by dx for these functions. This is the one. What is the difference between y dash we did go through previously and this function? This function is given in parametric form. Do you remember? It's in parametric form. So if I need to find the derivative for this function which is given in parametric, I will have to go through the rule for the parametric derivative, which states if we need to find dy by dx, we will have first to get dy by dt, then times dt by dx. So I will have to differentiate x completely or separately with respect to t, and then getting y separately as a function in t, then I will start to substitute in this rule. Step by step. It's very, very simple. So all I have to do is to get dy by dt, which is simply gonna be 3 sine t. صح؟ بعدين اروح اجيب dx by dt، ادي dx by dt، هات لي dx by dt which is gonna be 3 minus 2 cosine 2t. صح؟ Then I will start to